Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing Yedora combo. Now I really like mono-colored combo decks because the mana fixing is pretty simple. It's all one color, and the combo itself is pretty linear. This is actually one of the more complex combos in the format. I feel like I spent a few days working on it. It's still not entirely done, but it's close to being done. But essentially the combo is, I can go into a playtest here real quick and show you the main combo. You're going to have Ashnods, obviously. You're going to have, it can be any morph creature. We got one right here. Put a bunch of force down. I'm going to force to cast our commander. We're going to have this guy. And we'll take a few things out of the deck to really showcase what we can do. So let's say we have our Ashnods, we have our morph creature, and we have our Yedora. So we've casted our Yedora with Ashnods on the field. And what we're going to do here is we're going to sacrifice our Nantuko Vigilante, who will enter the graveyard. And then you will have a Yedora trigger. You will choose to re-enter him onto the battlefield. So at this point you will have 2 colorless floating. And you'll have an Nantuko Vigilante, which is now a forest land. Pay the 1. And then the 1 colorless from the Ashnods, and you get to flip him back over. This will allow you to make infinite colorless as many times as you want. From there, you can do something interesting. Because what you can do is, with Sprout Swarm is, once you turn him face up using the colorless and the green by tapping him, when he's a land, he'll get turned face up. And essentially from there, I'm actually not sure how that works actually, but you will get infinite Spore Mound triggers, which will allow you to make infinite 1/1s. There's a few other combos in here. Another one is Nyxborn Hydra. So let's say you have an urn. Where's my urn? I just saw it. Say you have an urn. You can do mana filtering, make infinite green, or if you already happen to have a couple of green, you can make any one of your creatures infinite with reach and trample. And I do have haste enablers in here, like Haunted Cloak. So if you wanted to, you could do a ram through after casting that and take someone out of the game real quick with a ram through. I also have a Pilly Palette combo in here. Pilly Palette Careful Cultivation, pretty standard, make infinite mana. From there you could do Sprout Swarm infinitely. Also have your standard Devoted Druid and Ivy Lane Denizen combo. So with Ivy Lane Denizen and Devoted Druid, you can generate infinite tokens with Presence of God, which I haven't put in here yet apparently, or I have it in hand actually. And so you make infinite tokens with that, and from there you can infinitely cast Sprout Swarm too if you want to, but at that point you don't really need to. You could do it just to get the Ivy Lane Denizen triggers. You also have an Airy Oof combo, which works with Ivy Lane Denizen. And that will, you can also utilize with Ashnods to make infinite mana. Because you can keep sacking it to Ashnods, you'll get a persist trigger and Ivy Lane Denizen trigger to negate it. You can just make infinite colorless that way as well. I feel like the only thing setting the deck back from being really insane is the fact that there's not many tutors in mono green. There is a Shrine Steward in the deck, um, which will allow you to tutor out your Presence of God, your Careful Cultivation right here. But ultimately, it's not going to be as tutor efficient because, once again, you're in green. So you're kind of forced to run with a bunch of cardio stuff. Let's see if I can pull up an example, like Benefaction of Ronus. Reveal top 5, you can put a creature, card, or enchantment from among them into your hand, put the rest into your yard. So you can kind of see how that plays out here. You can get access to this, and the rest go into the bin. There's a few other stuff that I want to talk about, which is the Basking Brood Scale. With this, you can, with Ivyland Denizen Area combo, you could also, I'm sorry, not Area combo, I apologize. You can do it with Presence of Gond combo, I believe, once you have the Sprout Swarm. Because you can infinitely put counters onto the Basking Brood Scale. Creating infinite 0/1s as well, if you wanted to do it like that. Or if you happen to make infinite mana with Pili-Pala, you can also generate infinite tokens that way. Another thing you can do is with Evolution Witness. So if you have to make infinite mana, and you have something called a Vessel of Nascency. It's not Vessel of Nascency, where is it? There you go. Vessel of Nascency. Reveal top 4 of your library and put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land, or planeswalker card from among them into your hand, for the rest into your graveyard. You can essentially, once you have infinite mana, filter through your entire deck to find your win conditions. Pretty much just kill whoever you want. I was thinking of putting a Crashing Drawbridge in here to combine with Haunted Cloak. That way you can give all your infinite 1/1s haste. But it's just, it's still kind of in the works a little bit. But for the most part, it's pretty much fleshed out. Aside from the fact that there is limited tutors. I think I have a Wirewood Herald in here as well, yeah. You kind of need to have this to get the elf card out of your library. But yeah, because you can tutor for Evolution Witness, you can tutor for Ivyland, you can tutor for Devoted Druid, and that's kind of your main ones. Pretty much all of my cardio cards in here, and there's 20 of them, are all designed to put stuff into the graveyard because we want to recur them. The only card that doesn't do this is the Ancient Stirrings, because the Ancient Stirring allows us to reveal a colorless, so we're essentially getting a land or an artifact, preferably Ashnod's or Pili-Pala in most cases, and the rest we put on the bottom. So if and that's the reason we can't run a bunch of essentially scry effects for the most part, and not really scry because you're required to put them on the bottom. You don't have the choice, because if you end up putting an Ashnod's on the bottom of your deck, it's going to really suck if you can't shuffle your library anytime soon to potentially draw it. So you really want to have most of your stuff in the graveyard. It's not too big of a concern. It's not too big of a concern for the most part, as long as you're able to recur it, and there is like a few recursion pieces in the deck. And yeah, you have stuff like Elven Cache, which returns target card from your graveyard to your hand. So even if we get it into the yard, we can use that. We can use Revive the Shire. We can use Reclaim. There's a few other cards you could use as well, or that's not Reclaim. Yeah, Reclaim right here. Yeah, there's a few cards that we can utilize here to bring back the Ashnod's from the yard, which isn't too big of a deal. And there's some that do it already, like Vessel and Ancient Stirrings, as I just explained. But you also have some Infinite Life stuff with Kazandu. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, gain 1 life. I didn't really want to put in too many landfall stuff, because comboing off in itself in this deck requires a lot of thought into what you're milling and what you're bringing back and when you use your cards. So it is kind of a dependent deck where it depends upon you anticipating what you're going to draw into next. So yeah, you do have to have a pretty good knowledge of your deck beforehand. Otherwise, you're going to end up potentially milling something you don't want to mill, or using a recursion spell that you needed to wait until later to use to get back the astronauts or something like that. I also do have a Strider Harness in here because Pilly Pally combo can pretty much just come out of nowhere if you have these on the field. 2 mana for your Pilly Pally, 1 mana for that, 3 mana for that. And essentially, you got 6 mana, you got infinite mana right then and there. If no one has a response, it's kind of just GG if you have the ability to win from that point forward. Another good reason to potentially run a drawbridge here, which I am thinking about doing, but I don't know yet. And yeah, I'll be playtesting this deck here fairly soon. One more. The main win condition, I should say, is Sylvanas' Invoker. So once you have your infinite colorless, you can make infinite green by using Sylvanas' Invoker's ability, and you can do it at instant speed. So it doesn't matter if they interact at all with your creature. You can do this as many times as you want. By this point in time, you're going to have probably at least 7 lands. You'll have infinite green at that point. You'll have at least like roughly 7 8/8s that you can kind of just swing out and probably kill everyone. If you have an Ivy Lane Denizen, you can Sprout Swarm to infinite trample creatures, or you can just ram through, or Nyxborn Hydra if you wanted to. There's a lot of options. Once you have infinite mana, there's a lot of options that you can use. So it's important. It's not too difficult of a combo. I don't feel like as Tashar, it's not as complicated. And once you get it going, it's pretty much non-interactable for the most part. There are certain things that are interactable, like if you try to Elven Cache your Ashnaughts and they exile your yard. That's definitely something you really can't do anything about. At that point, you'd have to have a Reclaim in hand and respond with a Reclaim. Otherwise, your yard just gets screwed. You are going to have people responding to you tapping for the presence of Gone combo with the Ivy Lane, or the Airy Oof combo. And so for that, you're going to have stuff like Tamios. You're going to have stuff like Tamios. No, not Tammy. Tamios to give stuff hexproof and indestructible. There's also another combo in here. Aside from the fact that once you megamorph, infinitely with your Inox Survivalist kind of stuff, you can destroy all the artifacts and enchantments on the board that you want. You also have Nervous Gardener here, which allows you to get a basic land to put into your hand, potentially useful. But it also goes infinite mana with Ashnaughts. There's another one in here. You got Kintry, another morph creature that goes infinite. Essence Warden will give you infinite life if you have infinite ETBs from the creatures. Patron of the the Wild is mana neutral. It's going to give a creature +3/+3. So if you do happen to get your 7 8/8s, but you don't have enough damage to kill the board, you can Patron of the Wild infinitely with Ashnaughts and give everything infinite, which is another way. There is 2 mana filters, obviously, which is Urn of Godfire, and Energy Refractor. Those are both decent cards. There's about 10 pieces of interaction in the deck currently. I do run a Root Grapple for decent reasons. There is a card that allows you to reduce the cost of Tree Folk, but I don't care for it. I do run a Guy's Touch. It is, I feel, pretty much necessary in this deck, considering it's mono green, so all your lands are forced pretty much. And it allows you to get an extra 2 green by sacrificing it, which can be useful in tight spots. Other than that, yeah, you just want to cycle through your deck, get to one of your 3 combo lines as fast as possible, and then produce a combo outlet that allows you to win the game on that turn or the next one. And yeah, I'm going to put the link for my deck list in the description for anyone that wants to take a look. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free. And I hope people that are interested by Yedora get some insightful context about it. Enjoy the rest of your day.